Hello, everyone. This is White Wolf, and we are going to be going live. And we're going to talk about changing the projections, meaning we're changing the present moment and how we're projecting the present moment. So, the experience that we have and changing the theme and the direction and the culmination of the experience as if we're manicuring and trying to prepare the experience towards ourselves and how we're projecting it, how we're emulating it, how we're carrying it out, but also how we are thinking about the present moment. So, thinking about changing the projection of your present moment is changing how you're speaking about your present moment, how you're thinking about your present moment, how you're going about life in a specific pattern, but making it parallel with itself and making it connect and have fluidity so that you're having that validation like, okay, I have the ability to change the present moment. And just because there's things that present themselves to me in my reality doesn't mean that I'm doing something wrong. It just means that what you're going through is just trying to reflect to you what you're speaking out into the ethers. So every time that we speak empowerment, we speak our affirmations, we speak in the direction of our faith, in the direction of who we're supposed to become in that moment, we're allowing ourselves to gather our will because we're actually speaking to truth, we're speaking to alignment, and we're speaking to a direction that's actually in a constant state of embodying who we are. And instead of a false projection, now we're projecting in a way that's healthy. So as we're projecting in a way that's healthy, in a way that's more fluent, in a way that's more direct on how we're able to accumulate that mass, that spiritual mass within ourselves, and see that if we're projecting all the things that we really want within our existence, we ourselves are changing the present moment, changing our thought process, changing the way that we process and the way that we accumulate and the way that we receive in this moment. So changing the projection of how you're trying to emulate source is changing the theme, the narrative, the direction, and the focus and the direction of where you're wanting to go. And changing the present moment is changing how you're projecting the present moment. So we all have stuff in our realities that we probably don't like. So if you don't like it, then we have the ability to acknowledge it, we have the ability to change it, and we have the ability to look at the reason why it keeps coming up within our life. So when you're speaking down about yourself, like, oh, I'm just fat, then you continuously get into a pattern of being fat, or you want to work out, but then when it's at the precipice of working out, then you don't do it. So changing how we're emoting, changing how we're projecting, and changing how we are putting everything out there. And it's kind of deals with our words of wisdom, with our switch words, but also spelling. So a lot of the times when we're thinking something, sometimes we can manifest those thoughts within our own lives. So see, there's chaos in the world. Sometimes there's something that presents itself to you and you're like wondering, why is the world so chaotic? Why is the energy so strange? It's because all of us are receiving and going along the journey and trying to figure out how to co-create. And understanding that there will always be a challenge or chaos or confusion or feeling kind of lost, but that is how you find your way. That's how you find your way in life. It's changing the projection of the present moment. So if you find a way to change the projection of the present moment, it means that you're not lost in the memory of the moment, and it means that you're not disillusioned to the point where you're lost in the illusion, and now you're not lost within your thoughts or your patterns or maybe taking on other people's feelings and thoughts in a empathic way. So one of the reasons why I was thinking about this is because it was so funny. I just had this experience, like, I don't really like it when other dogs go near my dog when I'm walking my dog, and this person was just kind of bum rushing me. And then this person is going like 70 miles down the street, and it catches me off guard while I'm walking my dog. And then I walk past another house, and these pit bulls are like fighting each other. But that's existence. That's beauty. That's God reflecting to me that everything that I'm speaking and everything that I'm attracting to myself, there is some form of lesson and some form of integration when you're experiencing life as a whole. So just because you do experience those things doesn't mean that you're off the path or that you're not aligned. It means that you're actually more in tune because you're seeing like what humanity is going through. like what humanity is feeling and what humanity is trying to change within their present moment by what's been presented to them. So one of the things that I was thinking about, my guides and my higher self were telling me about, was the very fact and the nature of literally changing the way that you are emoting, projecting, emulating. Because if you always think about these thoughts, like even from the past, they tend to manifest themselves. So our thoughts, our ideas, our willingness to be free, our free will as a whole, when we choose to act on the free will itself, that means we're garnering the will, gathering the will, understanding the will inside of ourselves, and using it as fuel and fire and passion so that the will is purified. And then we're not basing it on our thoughts. We're not basing it on our emotions. We're not basing it on just like the way that the human being sees and feels and directs, meaning that we are becoming a vehicle of source. So understanding that we're becoming a vehicle of source, meaning that we're emulating source within our vibration, meaning that we're becoming source here and now, and understanding that as you're emulating source and becoming source in that moment, that means that everything in your life is gaining some sense of purification in sense and sensibility. So that means that your sensory input is more heightened, you're more aware of energy, you're more aware of the intuitive message that you get within your reality. And also sometimes when you're watching TV, sometimes that can manifest in your life as a reflection. So changing the projection is changing the way that you're mirroring back into reality, changing the way that you're reflecting back into reality, and changing what is being presented inside of the mirror, the container, the filter within yourself. So everything and everyone and everything that is being projected into awareness is a reflection of the I am presence. So everything that we experience, rather it is challenging, rather it is frightening, rather it is crazy or chaotic, it is still God giving us reflections. And it doesn't mean that you're doing the wrong thing. It just actually means you're more aware of what you need to kind of look in yourself, but also respecting the free will and understanding that all of humanity is going through this. All of humanity is experiencing this, and all of humanity is really reflecting and only going from the standpoint of who they are right now. So every single day we're not the same person, so we don't have the same position or standpoint. That's what's crazy about free will and coming into consciousness, is that every single day you're not the same person, so you can't hold the other person accountable because you're the new self. So that's what's fucked up about projection and the present moment. You're still not the same person. So every single day you're dealing with another version like of White Wolf, or a different emotional guidance system, or a trigger, or trauma, or past lifetimes. So understanding changing our projections is like, what are we listening to? What are we watching? Or who are we listening to? It's just kind of like having that obedience and listening to source when it's constantly directing you and guiding you, and feeling into that guidance and know that you're hearing source's voice when you allow that obedience inside of yourself. And like Amanda just said, and it's good to see you, the soul is constantly growing. I love that. I love that as an affirmation. I think that's a perfect example of this entire life, is that our soul is constantly growing. And as we have growing seasons, and as we have migrations, and as we change as an entity, as we change as a group consciousness, as we change and grow and manifest even more within our lives, all energies just seem to get heightened. It's like the full moon energy, or even times in your life where you're having a lot of change within your life and you don't understand why. You like moved out of a house and moved into this one, and then a year later you're moving again. So the universe works in many miraculous, mysterious ways, because they want us to get the most out of this experience, but also they're wanting us to be led and go to the exact place they want us to be in the most proper alignment, but also even in prosperity. So sometimes you could be living in a house, you like that house, but the next house is just so much more better. It's so much more rich. It has more room. It just feels like it's more representative of the person that you are now. So sometimes we don't understand as souls is that life fucking changes and it's crazy and it just goes in many different directions because they're pulling you into the direction where you need to be. And they're not allowing you to linger in a certain place. So if your lives are changing very drastically, just know that there's a reason for that. There's a reason for your change. There's a reason for expansion. And there's a reason why we go through the things that we go through is because of the reasons they bring us closer to our destiny. So it really just reflects back to us that the universe is listening to what you're saying, what you're doing, what you're emoting, what you're thinking about. You're always on the microphone. I said this yesterday. You're always on the mic. So you might be speaking on the bullhorn and saying a bunch of crap that's actually not true. So it's really crazy because it's true. And it was like, no matter what we do, no matter what we experience, if we really want to experience the best things out of life, or the change, or the release within our life, or the activation of tapping into our truest desires, we have to manifest those desires, but also purify those desires, and to know that the reason why those desires are even there is because it's coming from a state of purity and knowing kind of like what you want and what you desire within oneself. Because that's oneness. That's an acceptance of oneness as you're that astral projection of creation. So if you see yourself like the universe, and I think people don't realize that we are a quantum universe. We are a universe. We are multidimensional, interdimensional beings. So understanding that is that everyone is an interdimensional being, whether they like to know it or not. So we are like a mini universe. Even though that we're not many, we're actually very big. So understanding that we are like a universe, we are like a Quantum Mania, like Marvel movie. There's so much inside of ourselves that's so complex that we don't even know how to describe it or how to put it into words. I have a few examples, like an electromagnetic kinetic source energy field is because we generate a pulse. We generate electrons and electrolytes and like electricity and attracting and manifesting, transversing time and space. But also we are infinite. So we're consciousness, but we're infinite as an astral projection. So we're infinite in our nature. We're infinite in our creation. We're infinite and we live on forever. So, but changing the present moment changes the stimulation of it. Meaning the way that you're stimulated, the way that you're wired, the way that your brain kind of works, and the way that you view yourself, so that you're not going over here, going over there. Even though I can be aligned right here and I can be aligned right over here. So it doesn't really matter where you place it. It's just, what is your placement? How does it get you into that groove of meditation, that groove of intensity? And the ability that we don't have to project something that is false. The only reason why we do that is that we haven't tapped into the truth yet. Or we know the truth, but we're kind of running away from the truth. So projecting in the present moment is manifesting in the present moment, meaning that no matter what you think or feel or say, it has a direct correlation of how you're channeling. So if there's things just popping in your life, and then they kind of come into a screeching halt, that means that there has something has been changed within the configuration of how you attract and emulate, because you probably subtracted more out of your space so that you can multiply and add upon the present moment. So let's just say that you have this job and then suddenly you came into a small business, you own that small business, you sold products online, and then somehow you were able to quit your job and do that and have more time off and have more free time to do your other hobbies. So that means that you've literally severed a timeline or severed a distorted reality within the illusion, but also a reality that was of lack, that was of not a prosperous nature. But now you've attracted the most preferred state of being, because you've finally went into it and you experienced it and you allowed yourself to attract it, but also download it within your space. That means that there's a sense of flow, a sense of direction, a sense of urgency within your reality to see what you're actually experiencing, and that you have the ability to change it. It's just making those required actions and releasing stuck energy so that you can actually come into that energy. So it's kind of understanding that when you finally do this, you see that instead of resolving problems, how do we evolve within our reality? Instead of resolving, instead of just finding quick solutions, let's evolve and grow and change and come into that prophecy that's laid before us. So not devolving, but evolving within our realities. Because we can find resolve for a quick moment, but then something happens and it just kind of like reinforces something else, right? So it's kind of like you can be in like 12 different realities all at once. But this reality right here, if it's in sync, then all those other 12 realities can be in sync with itself. I love the example that you just used, where I felt like I was straddling two different realities. It was trippy. It kind of makes you feel like you're on a boat that's rocking and you don't know where the destination is. So we have a monad, the I Am Presence, different aspects of ourselves in different planes, different universes, and are brothers and sisters of us, but they're different versions of us. So that's what's happening in the space-time continuum. The 12 aspects of ourselves, 12 realities, are coming into balance with oneself as a projection. So meaning that that's why this reality is so important, because we can channel so much knowledge from the dimensions and get information, but if we're not implementing it within this reality, then what is it really for? Does that make sense? So that's why we're making sure that it's inside of this reality, so that it can be more present, more alive, more aware, so that it can reset the imbalances within realities. I didn't even know what I was going to talk about today, because I do these lives every single day. But we're going to do a meditation. So on this channel, I do meditations, I do healings, and I do psychic readings on here. I also have appointments that you guys can book if you feel great about the meditation. I do have 1 hour special for $50 and 2 hours for $100, $150 for 2 hours. So we're going to do a meditation. So with this meditation, allow it to be an activating meditation. So meaning that we're learning how to project more in alignment and more in correlation with what we want to bring within the space-time continuum. So it's going to feel kind of like an energetic blast, and that's how I'm designing it. So allow yourselves to get grounded, allow yourself to get centered, allow yourselves to feel into the vibration that is present inside of you within this meditation. And what we're going to do is that we're going to have acceptance towards everything, meaning that we're not putting up a fight, we're not trying to justify anything, we're not crying out for help, we're not begging on our hands and knees for God to fix our lives, but we're trying to become the tool and the instrument in the vibration, in the correlation, in the direction, in the theme, in the narrative, in the human presence of God's source energy, meaning that we are a being of balance, we are a being of love, and we are a being of understanding. So some of you might feel like you're rocking back and forth. Some of you might need to lay down. But what this is doing is that it's allowing you to feel everything spontaneously, meaning that you're tapping into a simultaneity within this meditation, that you're recalibrating and recharging the batteries, meaning yourself. So we're a lot like rechargeable lights. Sometimes we just need a pick-me-up. Sometimes we just need a boost. And sometimes we just need to recharge the batteries, and to know that every time that we do this, we are replenishing ourselves, revitalizing ourselves, giving ourselves a new vitality. So the energy that is coming in is very beautiful within this meditation, meaning that there's this sapphire, there's this white gold, and there's these energies from the 12th dimension that are helping us connect with our archangels, our guides, and our higher selves in this moment, and our galactic beings as well. But meaning that we are in this moment, relaxing into the very fact of allowance. Allowance of yourself, allowance of the body, an allowance of the spirit, and an allowance for us to change within this moment. So meaning that you're aligning with your galactic chakras, which help you maneuver and manipulate the energy within your own reality. Being able to manipulate the energy is being able to co-create within this moment, meaning that you're able to change what you're projecting, meaning that you're changing your ideas about it, your intentions, your limiting beliefs about it, your emotions about it. And in this moment, allowing yourself to be the master of illusion. So illusion being that you change the world, you change the existence of the world, and you change how the world is coming into balance. So with this activating meditation, you're able to process more, you're able to be less triggered, and you're also really connecting to your divine DNA and the cosmic codex. So also we're tapping into God code as well, meaning that we're tapping into the source of creation that creates all of us. And another thing that we're debunking within this meditation is judgment. Judgment of self, judgment of others, and jealousy and envy. My guides were telling me that jealous and envy of people who are wealthy, people who have nice cars, people who are just healthy in general. How can we learn how to tap into that energy and how to project that wealth into existence? So thinking about that and seeing what that person is doing and how we can learn from that person. And sometimes it's literally feeling into your non-physical being most of the time, meaning that you're channeling your higher self or you're just more in tune with your masculine and feminine energies. So meaning that when you go around like the store or in your daily life or go around people, that you don't take on the baggage of energy, meaning that you don't take it on and you don't allow it to infiltrate your space. So this is where there is a purity wherever you go, meaning that when you go to a place, you feel like you're the emulation of the blessing because you've already accepted the blessing. And when you are manifesting that blessing, it means that you're just a tool or a vehicle or an entity that is here to be a presence of awareness. To impart that presence, but also to direct that presence and also to teach whenever it needs to, but also to learn and listen whenever it needs to. So now we're changing how we're feeling, how we're saying stuff, and also how we're going about life. This is the way that we constantly project progression, not digressing, not limiting beliefs, not what your dad did to you like 20 years ago, but in this moment, you move on with your creation. And you feel into the power because it's present. It's not lingering within a memory, but all realities in all time and all space of energetic configurations and causes and effects are in alignment. So this is where you have space within your energy where the container and the filter has everything that it needs so that you're able to contain the knowledge, but you don't contain so much to where you're not able to project it. But the filter is where the ego isn't such a resistance, isn't such a hindrance, it's where the ego finally works in our benefit because it's coming from a positive, aligned space of energy. So now the ego is working with us instead of against us. So now we're able to think, perceive, and be cognizant, be aware, be alive, and only promote everything that breathes life into this existence because you're the appearance of light. So therefore, when there is anything that you feel that is not of a good essence, you don't pertain that to yourself. Meaning that this isn't like unhealthy avoidance, but this is a healthy sense of deflection and avoidance because you're not taking on the other empathic energies. The thought forms, the existences, the truths, the emulations, and you're allowing yourself to accelerate within that moment because of your presence, because of your awareness, because of who you are as an entity. So this is why this meditation was very vivid, is because the changing of linguistics, language, speech, the way that you walk, the way that you are, it changes with vibration. And things that you probably never used to like before, now you do like. It means that there is a change within yourself. So there is a change, there is a vibrancy, there is an aliveness, there is a source of direction there. And nothing can really change that. Just choose to accept it and just be that power and just radiate from that light whenever you need to. Whenever you feel led to. And whenever you want to. This is what we call simultaneity. So everybody take a deep breath. One last deep breath. Exhale. And you are God manifest in the human form, which is the oracle of love, light, and wisdom. And that was the meditation, guys. So that was the activating meditation of changing your reality and your projections. So I hope that was very beneficial for you. Also, guys, I'm going to be going live around 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern. If it's any later, it'll be 10 or 11. Sometimes that happens. So I'll be doing live readings tonight. I hope to see you guys there. Also, you guys can book private sessions if you feel led to. I have a $50 special for 1 hour and a $100 special for an hour and 30 minutes for 100 and 150 for 2 hours. I seem to forget a lot. But changing your projections will change your reality. Changing how you feel will change how you experience your reality. But how you experience your reality is choosing to channel your reality and choosing to go from the source of truth and getting to the heart of the matter, but also realizing that light is the appearance of everything. It's the only way that we are living, that we're directing. And sometimes the understanding and the emulation of reflection is also looking at our reflections, but mirroring back those reflections to others so that there is a healthy sense of vibration. So thank you, guys. It was a pleasure. It's an honor. I do 2 lives every single day. And I just do my job. So if you feel led to book private sessions, text me or email me. Thank you so much. And God bless. If I know how to shut the live off. That's so funny. You're welcome. God bless, guys.